welcome to Tub Talk with me, Emerald. Oh my god! Alright, so you all heard it. I am in my bathtub as always, and I actually have a live studio audience of about 7 people, and I'm really excited about it. So me and my husband, like, I think I told you all, we moved to Charlotte about 2 months ago, and so we're having our housewarming. I'm a little drunk, and by a little I mean I'm really drunk. I made the sangria like a week ago, and I've been chugging it, so it's really good. I'm drunk. I'm about to get into some shit with y'all today, alright? Tonight, there's no PTLO. Like, I'm not gonna be talking about celebrity gossip and like that bullshit. Like, I'm gonna get straight into the stuff that really matters to me and to other people, okay? So, let's talk about Nate Parker, alright? He is on everybody's mind. He is at the top of everybody's Facebook feed, right? Okay, for those of you who don't know what's going on, Nate Parker is an actor, producer, director, writer, black male in Hollywood who is doing some really cool things. He was in the movie Beyond the Lights. I think he's been in a couple other things, but most recently, he is known for writing, directing, and starring in the movie Birth of a Nation, which is about Nat Turner and the slave uprising that happened then. And that's great, right? Like, this is a story that we all need to know, that kind of gets skipped over in our history books, that I think young people need to know about, black, white, or otherwise. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited somebody took that story and was like, you know what, we want to tell that story. What I'm not excited about. In 1999 at Penn State University, Nate Parker and his homeboy, John Celestine, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm not, I do apologize for that. John Celestine, who was also attributed as a writer and producer on Birth of a Nation, they were accused and went to trial for raping a woman at Penn State. Okay? Yeah, that's just true. Y'all have a live studio audience. If you hear shit, like, that shit's real. This is real reactions, okay? Listen.
Yeah.
They were accused of raping a woman, okay? They went to trial. They were acquitted. They went to trial again. They were acquitted. Let me just say something across the board here. Acquittal does not mean innocent. Acquittal means that there was not enough evidence, or that the person who was in a prosecution side did not want to go on. That's what acquittal means. So just because somebody was acquitted of something does not mean they're innocent of something. And let's just keep it 100, right? Even if somebody is proven to, or said to be not guilty, does not mean they didn't commit the crime that they said they committed, or that they were accused of committing, okay? So, John and Nate were acquitted. Nate then went on to go to Oklahoma State University, meet his future wife, and then, you know, the rest is history, right? So I want to talk about this for a couple of reasons. I want to talk about this as a black, period, woman, period. Okay? I encompass a lot of identities. I am black. I am fully black. I am woman. I am fully woman. I am a Christian. I'm a believer. I am fully a believer. And there are a couple of other things that we can add to those things. So when somebody asks me to differentiate, to pick one over the other, to say that there's a hierarchy of how I identify myself, that's a whole lot of bullshit to me. Okay? Let me tell you what's been going on social media. On social media, black men in particular have been telling me and other women who look like me that we need to quiet down. That the ideas of patriarchy, rape, misogyny are just buzzwords. That we need to stand in solidarity as a race before we stand in solidarity as a gender. I cannot differentiate between the two. It's just not going to happen with me. And if you know me, you know it's not going to happen with me. Because everything about me is fully black and fully woman. Everything about how I raise my 2 black daughters is fully black and fully woman. Everything about how I go about my daily life, entering into my career, and how I worship my God, and how I interact with my friends, and how I go into this community, and how I pay my fucking bills is fully black and fully woman. Okay? There's no separation. So when I hear black men in particular say to me, this is about racial solidarity. We have this black man, Nate Parker, who is putting out this movie that's important about Nat Turner, about the slave uprising. And this is more important than whatever you women have going on. While I agree that this is important, this is not more important. Our Lord said that there is no hierarchy of oppression. Women are oppressed. Marginalized people, hence the term marginalized, are oppressed. And if you are fighting for racial equality, then you must be fighting for gender equality. You must be fighting for, social economic equality. You must be fighting for medical equality. You must be fighting for all of it across the board. Because otherwise, you're not fighting for any of it. I said this other day to a couple of my friends. I said, I look at black men and I hear them say all this stuff, and I hear them say that it's more about racial solidarity, and I hear them say that black women need to stop listening to what massa says and throwing around these buzzwords like misogyny, like patriarchy, and need to get on board with the real cause of what's going on in our black community. And you know what I think about? I think about the fact that what that means is that black men, and I said this is my metaphor, okay? I can turn a phrase. My aunt told me that. My metaphor is this: black men would rather take the helm of the oppressor's ship. They would rather become the oppressor and rather put about patriarchy in the society than to say, you know what, if women aren't treated equally, none of us are treated equally. If those who identify as LGBTQIA aren't treated equally, none of us are treated equally. Okay? If those of native peoples in this country aren't treated equally, it doesn't fucking matter what we do because none of us are treated equally. Okay? All of our suffering, all of our joys, all of our progress, everything that we have is tied to one another. And you cannot ask people to separate their identities. You just can't do that. And I get so pissed off. When my husband and I were thinking about what I want to do for this show, we're like, maybe you should do like a satire. Maybe it should be like, oh, like Nate Parker was right, and this is why Nate Parker is right, and kind of do like a satirical idea. You all seen Stephen Colbert, right? Where he acts like a Republican, but he's really not a Republican. And my husband was like, you can't do that because you're so pissed off about it. Like, I can't do it. It's not right. And the thing that gets me about Nate Parker is that I believe in second chances, right? Michael Vick, he fucked up. He served his time. He did what he needed to do. He admitted he was wrong. Nate Parker keeps hiding behind the fact that he's innocent. And that's just not it. Because let me tell you something. If Nate Parker and his friend John Celestine saw a woman and she said yes under the influence, that's still rape. Because the alcohol consented to that. If they are unsure whether the alcohol or the woman consented to it, that's still rape because they're unsure on who gave consent to it. Unless they knew for a fact that that woman was in her right mind, it is still rape. And if Nate Parker could just say on behalf of his 4 daughters and his wife and his 2 sisters and his mother and whatever other woman he wants to tout out in front of the media, he fucked up in 1999, then maybe we could start healing. But he refuses to do it. He keeps hiding behind the fact that he is innocent when alcohol was involved, when a woman in 2012 took her life, leaving behind a young son because she was so devastated from what happened to her at Penn State. That's okay. So I couldn't do a satirical piece. Because it pisses me off. Because I'm raising 2 young daughters in this world. I'm raising 2 daughters who are fully black and are fully woman. And it scares the shit out of me. I think that's the reality of it, right? And until we are raising a generation of people who can understand that you have to be able to own up to what you did. That's the surface level. Own up to the shit that you did, and then we can move forward. The second level is we need to start teaching our young people the difference between consent and what is not consent. And I think even deeper, we need to start redefining what the law is considered to be rape, because the law definition of rape is bullshit. Like, let's be honest, right? It's straight up bullshit. If somebody is not in their right frame of mind, leave them the fuck alone. It's really that simple. What's funny to me is that in 1999, there was a third guy that was in the room, Tamerlane Kangas. Again, forgive me if I mispronounce the name. And the reason you haven't heard about him, Tamerlane, is because he decided that he didn't want anything to do with it. You know why he decided that? He decided that because he said, 3-on-1, something's wrong here. Somebody raised him right. He looked at the situation. He said, something is not right in what's going on here. So I'm going to remove myself from this situation. And I bring him up because, one, I applaud him. Two, it lets us know that there was somebody in the room who was like, nope, this shit ain't cool. This is not right. How come Nate Parker couldn't figure that shit out? How come Jean Celestine couldn't figure that shit out? It's not right. And we have to remember that, 65% of sexual assault cases do not get reported? This isn't just women. It is a woman's issue, but it is a men's issue. It is a LGBTQIA issue. So many people in the gay, lesbian, and transgender community get sexually assaulted, and there are not enough resources in the community to understand how to go about helping those cases. We need to step up as a country. If we are talking about we're going to take care of one another, this is something that we have to start taking seriously. It is happening to everyone. Everyone. And you all, and whoever you may know, maybe not you all, because I figure anybody who's watching this probably feels the same way I do, but people that you know may be like, you know what, it doesn't matter until it happens to somebody they know. But it shouldn't have to get there. It shouldn't have to get to that point. It shouldn't have to get to that point for you to respect and accept and appreciate somebody who's fully woman, or who's fully gay, or who's fully lesbian, or who's fully black, or Hispanic, or Native. It shouldn't have to get to that point. I get real mad. I get real passionate. Y'all know this about me. Y'all keep tuning in no matter what. I'm going to end on a couple of things because, as always, I never want to take up too much of your time. The question boils down to, do we support a rapist? Okay? The story of Nat Turner and the slave rebellion and uprising, and the story that Birth of a Nation tells, is incredibly important. It's something that is not always discussed in the history curriculum in our schools. But Nate Parker made it. And he can't own up to who he was as a person. I'm not even going to say who he is, because people do change. I'm not the same as I was 10 years ago. Lord knows it, and I'm so glad not to be. But he can't own up to it. So do we support somebody who continues to sweep things under the rug? Things that took the life of somebody. Things that left a son motherless. Do we support that person? I don't know what the right answer is. I'm not here to give you a right answer. I'm not here to... I don't know. But it's something to think about. And in particular, when it comes to you, black, period, women, period. I don't know. And I'm sorry Sometimes I feel like some of you come to me for answers, and I don't have the answer to this. I don't know what I'm going to do because the movie hasn't been released yet. And so I can't say, this is what I did. I don't know yet. But I know that I'm tired of the people who should be protecting me the most telling me that I need to get over myself. Telling me that I need to deny a part of who I am. So there was no social justice, there was no PTLO, there was just a top story, right? I am going to leave you all with a final thought.
What you drinking?
Thank you.
Everybody wants to know what you drinking.
Thank you for bringing me back. Thank you. So I'm drinking my house sangria. It's the Ford House Sangria. We keep it on tap all the time. It's really good. It's really good. It's got me a little drunk. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Lots of different red wines, some brandy, and lots of fruit. It's really good. My final thought is this. Take some time to think about who you want to be in this world. And I don't mean right now. I don't mean next week. I mean, when it's the end, who do you want to be? And make sure that those identities embody who you are fully. I am black fully. I am woman fully. I am a Christ follower fully. I am an activist fully. Think about that. Think about who you want to be and start being it in this world. I'll drink to that. I want to give a special shout out to my husband and our really great friend Andy. They, for the past 2 years, have participated in the Charlotte Safe Alliance Walk a Mile fundraiser, and it's basically bringing awareness about sexual assault and domestic violence. And this morning, they walked in some heels, some very high heels. They were Glenda the Good Witch and Elphaba the Wicked Witch of the West. And this year, they won the Most Spirited
yeah, they did.
award. So I'm really proud of them. And there are so many shelters and ways to get involved when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault in your own city. If you don't have the time to look it up, ask me. I'll look it up for you, because if you want to get involved, I would hope you get involved. So thanks to them for that. Thanks for Safe Alliance for putting that on. Thank y'all for watching. Sorry that it was just me kind of yelling at you. Sorry, not sorry.
Don't apologize.
Exactly.
What else is new?
But I mean, like, this is real to me. Like, this hopefully is real to all of us, but this is real for me. This is an intersection that I absolutely inhabit, so this is real to me. Next week, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. We'll see what happens in this fucktastic world, and we'll figure it out. But until then, guys, keep sipping. Thanks. See you next week.